Before we get started, let's just all take a deep breath. And when we let out, let's let out a nice sigh and feel that vibration, feel it sink down into our bodies. So let's go ahead and do that now. Take a nice deep breath in, hold, and then Great. All right. So here is a little bit about us and why we're here today. So we've been wandering around in isolation since 2019, since the summer. We actually went on this journey to go and live in the wild, to be in nature, be more connected to the natural environment before the lockdown started. And when the lockdown came into effect, it was really strange because it was in alignment with what we were doing and what we were seeing a lot of other people doing at the time. We still made a lot of great friends and did meet some people along the way, but we were really just focusing on that inner journey and connecting to nature, which is just, it was so rewarding. And there we go, just got a few more people coming in. So that's why we're doing this. We're not afraid to share this anymore, and just saying hello to everyone joining in. Hello, Syra. And yeah, so we want to put out this information. We want to facilitate this positive change, just share the experience we have, share the knowledge we have. I am a 10th generation Reiki master, although I believe that you can never really master anything, and it takes time to, there's always more to learn, right? So that is just like the credential I've been bestowed, and I have this knowledge I wish to share. Rita is also second level Reiki practitioner, and I know many of you are familiar with Reiki, and many people will be, whether you're watching this right now or if you're on the replay. Just a quick message about what that means. Rei is universal or cosmic, and then Ki or Chi is life force and energy. This is the mixture of the two. It's universal life force or universal energy. And what we're going to be talking about is the energy awareness. So this Reiki and this energy we work with on a daily basis, we're doing this whether we consciously realize it or not. It lets us feel more deeply as what's happening around us, so we can be more in touch with nature, be more in touch with the animals, plant life, everything, all the people around us. We get to really experience and connect with more deeply when we become more aware. So we wake up to that reality. And this comes through inner reflection, leads to clarity and stillness. When we can achieve that clarity and stillness in ourselves, then we move forward and we can build upon that foundation. So it does create stability in our lives as well. And what we want to do with all of this information is we want to provide a community platform for discussions, so people can study energy sensitivity practices, learn Reiki, learn Qigong, learn all these sorts of practices as we go forward. So all this information coming, this is why we're here. We want to just go at the end of the slide and take a nice deep breath in and then sigh it out. All right, let that sink in and let's move on. All right, so here it is, biocircuitry and the human energy field. So everything is connected energetically. A lot of us are already open to this concept, and this is how we connect to the energy through our emotions. We're sensing this energy all the time. It's being input and bombarded from all different angles. Our brain has electrical signals, and those trigger emotions within us. Those emotions have different effects on the organs in our body or compel us to move, and I think like adrenaline. So we turn our thoughts into physical reality constantly, and it's just by tapping in and connecting to this energy more intricately that we can have profound changes in our lives. Our DNA is a combination spliced together of all the evolution, all the life that has evolved before us. We have pieces of that DNA within us. We have parts of the DNA of a tree, of a fish, other birds, animals, even bacteria, different stages that helped those organisms evolve, created new codes, new mutations of that DNA, and those are all collected within us. And so what we're doing, we're using that DNA. You know, think about your structure, your blood circuitry system, the circulation of your blood. It's all moving through these like tendrils and like root system. It's like a tree, and so the information energy system that organized that is within the DNA, and that's how we read the code. That's how we grow and develop as people and as human beings. I mean, what we're learning to do now is consciously tap into that and reorganize our own structures. You can reorganize the way your DNA is activated, and then that brings out physical changes, which we see as emotional reactions. You change the whole personality structure, and also physically you change yourself. By just tuning into these energies and letting them flow through you. In order to do this, we need to reawaken our imagination. We need to open our minds to new beliefs, because if we don't let that happen and you say, I don't believe in this, I don't want to look at it, you lock the door on it and it's closed, so it doesn't exist to you. Whereas we want to network and connect with that system through the belief that exists. It's the only way we can think about it, right? Okay, deep breath in. Right. So let's go into some science, right? Let's look at how much energy is within us, right? We can use Einstein's equations to work out in energy potential how much energy is in the human body when you take the summation of our mass. So typically like a 70 kilogram person will have 70 million joules of potential energy. And to think about that in real world terms, that's the force of 30 large hydrogen bombs, like atom bombs, exploding. And that's enough to take out an entire continent. I'm not saying that you would want to do that, but that is a huge, enormous, immense amount of energy. And that's within us. That's all of our collective atoms' energy oscillating within us. And scaling that up, think about how our hearts are pumping electrically charged blood all around our body. If you stretched out every single blood vessel, capillary, vein and artery across in a long line, and you pumped blood all the way down there and back, it's even thicker than water, so it takes a lot more to pump it. That's how strong the heart is, and it's doing that every minute. It's doing it 70 to 150 on average beats per minute, every hour, every day, for decades and decades of your life. So it's very, very powerful. All of this biocircuitry, this human field, this body is powerful, and it's got that pump at the heart of it. It is the heart. The Heart Math Institute proved that there is an electromagnetic field surrounding the heart. Electromagnetic frequencies are emanated from the heart with the pump, and they've done so much research on the brain-heart connection, how our emotions are really facilitating the communication between the brain and the heart. When they're in coherence, when they're in harmony, we can do so much more. We feel enlivened, and we can do a lot. It goes beyond that. But if you want to look into that more, then please check out the Heart Math Institute. Just some other bits of information. So an infant will actually die within the first 6 to 9 months of its life if it does not have a human touch. If it doesn't have connection with the mother or any other human for that matter, that baby will die. And this is why we need to exchange energy as social creatures, as these evolved human beings. And actually, I say an exchange of energy because touch is an illusion. We don't ever actually touch anyone or anything, because the electrical charge generated by our atoms is repelled, or we do not coalesce with other things that we touch. So there's like a repulsion, like a static charge or a bounce back, like a magnet when we go near something. So that opens up a lot of ideas, thinking about how if we were in control of our energy field, and we could there's no reason why you couldn't put your hand through the table, because most of it's empty space, but we just need to become more aware of our energy field. And so talking about the heart again and this circulation of energy, we are like induction systems. We're like bio-induction systems. This is the main principle in how we get so much of the functional technology. A car or a phone wouldn't work without induction. You've got these wireless backs in the phones now, which work on wireless charging. That's an induction system. So you have a magnet and a wire wrapped around it. and you would plug that into the power. So power goes through the wire, and because there's a magnet around it, it generates an electromagnetic field. So if you took another magnet with wire wrapped around it and put that next to it, you actually get electricity flowing through the wires in the magnet that's not touching any power source or plugged into a battery. And this is how induction works. So there's an exchange of energy through these magnetic fields. This is what we're tapping into now. We're seeing how it works biologically, as well as through these technological advances we have. So how much energy then is in the world around us? If this is just in the human circuit, the human system, think about the plants and the animals and all of the solar radiation bombarding the earth, being taken in and pushed through to the core of the planet. You know, the earth is just saturated in so much energy. And this is all about entropy. And a really easy way to understand entropy is if you have a cold glass of water and a hot glass of water. There's more energy in the hot glass of water. It's hotter, so it has more entropy. Even though you can't physically or visibly see a difference, that one has more energy, and we can calculate that based on entropy, which is worked out in Kelvin. And another way to look at this to see how much energy is around us in the vacuum of space, it's zero entropy. There's nothing moving. It's completely void of all movement and life and everything, right? So that, in terms of how we look at it on Earth, is minus 273 degrees. So there's actually 300 units of entropy in the world around us. More people joining. Hi there. So there's so much energy in the world around us, and we calculate this in Kelvin. So on a typical summer's day, 300 Kelvin in the atmosphere. And, you know, even if you sit around in a quiet place at nighttime, you think there's nothing going on. It's so quiet and dead and empty. If you could experience that from a point of zero entropy, it would just be like fluctuating and vibrating so intensely. This is what actually happens when we start tapping into this, you know, through meditation, into these energies. You start to become aware of it, and it can be overwhelming. This is why we have to study and learn and open to these things. So again, scaling up to the solar system, you know, the stars, the planets, moons, asteroids, things like that, we see how we're affected by these things because they're all emanating waves, you know, electromagnetic waves. And this is where astrology and astronomy starts to be bridged together. Astronomy, you know, you have the data, the scientific data of what's being emitted, radio waves, sound waves, solar radiation, these sorts of things. Whereas astrology is more of the personification or the anthropomorphized way we see the energy. So we would say like Mars, you know, has typically got the ram, or like, you know, some sort of like Viking sort of warlike appearance in the way it's personified. And that's just to say that it's going to bring this distorted emotional energy toward anger or towards like fire, invigoration in a way. And, you know, we made these a long time ago when we couldn't really explain that scientifically. So we had to make a story. You have to make stories to understand something so you remember it. And this is where astrology has gotten lost, because now we see it as just fairy tales when really it's saying what the real scientific data would do to us as beings. You know, the moon is cycling the earth and it's making waves on the oceans. Those waves, just like the water within us, they're being moved, and we experience that as well. It affects us emotionally, it affects us physically, and we, so to the point that we even used to call people lunatics, because on the full moon, people would get a bit more crazy. The crime rate goes up, we've seen in more recent times. But also, you know, wolves howl at the full moon, insects go a bit more crazy and loud, and you hear the noises more. And I want to, lastly, on this bit, before we move on, bring this example. Imagine you're stood on a football pitch and someone is on the other side of the stadium. They're playing music on their phone, and you won't be able to hear that music at all. You're so far away from them. But nevertheless, you will still be able to, nevertheless, the music is still playing and the sound waves and the frequencies are coming towards you. You just can't consciously hear them. Whereas imagine it was nighttime, everything's quiet outside, and you really tuned in and focused, you know, and maybe even like cupped your ear in that direction, you may be able to pick up the slight sound of music. And that's because we're, like metaphorically, we're tuning in to something that we are observing, and then we can hear it more. We're tuning into the frequencies where we're able to pick up the something that we didn't see was there before when we had more distraction, right? Right. So yeah, we're basically like radios. We're tuning in to different frequencies. Even if we're slightly off the frequency, it becomes distorted and you can't really hear what's going on so much. And then that distortion, metaphorically, can be like emotional turmoil, problems in our lives, and not being in line with where we feel the greatest sense of joy and bliss, right? That's what we're trying to get toward. So yeah, through these practices, we can fine tune our direction. Cool. Is that all set in? That's quite a lot. Let's take another deep breath in. And sigh out. All right. Hope you're good. Let's go into this energy sensitivity awareness. So we're going to begin to talk about how we can awaken the biocircuitry of the human form. And just because you don't know something doesn't mean that it cannot be done. There are so many examples of this in the world. I won't go into now, but this is why we need faith, we need belief, we need imagination to begin with, especially if anyone's like skeptic or, thinking about those sorts of things. Just by putting our focus in the right place, it opens up the door, rather than blocking it out, as we mentioned earlier. So energy sensitivity awareness, and what is Reiki? When we begin these practices, the fundamental important stage is diet, exercise, sleep, imagination, belief, and emotions. So when we learn to really get a hold on these things and witness how they affect us over a long period of time, then we can step into a new world. Like we can let our awareness raise up out of all that distraction and chaos to focus on something new. See above the trees, see above the clouds, so to speak. That's a really fundamental topic, and we'll go into that. We go into that more. Like we have the course platform, which will really explore that. But right now, we'll just move on because this is all about communication. When you communicate with your body, you communicate with this system. It speaks to you, and it's always happening. This means we stop looking out there for these external, stimulus, for these things to tell us what's going on in life. We start looking within. And the great way that the body communicates with us is through the dreams, through our dreams, through little subtle synchronicities and those sorts of things that happen in life. Our body, our subconscious mind is speaking to us. So we make the conscious choice to what is in harmony and resonance with it. And so with the dreams, it's an odd topic because we've tried to wrap our heads around them and say that this dream means that and that dream means this. But they're all personal to us. Someone who has a dream about, they start eating their car, it's made of ice cream or something. That'll be you telling your body's telling you that you are damaging it because you're taking away from the vessel. But somebody else, maybe who works in a donut shop, will see it as donuts instead of ice cream. Maybe it will be a spaceship instead of a car. All of the experience and the things that our bodies communicate to us will be totally personal and relevant to our own life experience in the waking world. So we can have the same language, underlying language in the dreams, but different ways of it being said to us, different words and spellings, so to speak. Lots of people now are having spontaneous awakenings. When the diet or the exercise or the sleep falls into place, we can trigger an awakening, which then will mean that you suddenly have an intense experience. This is what happened for me as well. A very intense, compacted experience where all of the stimulus comes in, all of these visuals or sounds or just awareness comes into the mind, and it makes you say, what was that? What happened? And you want to learn, and it sparks the interest. It sparks the awakening within, and then we move into a new field of conscious exploration. So that leads on to Reiki and these other energy practices, and I like to relate it to the feeling of magnetism more than electricity. So electric stimulus would be, like your muscles when you contract and release muscles, it's an electrical signal. The sound waves hitting your ear, that's like a very electrical signal. Whereas the magnetic signal is more like a moving in harmony with what's already there. It's an attraction to what's the strongest magnet, what's pulling, what's having that pull on us. And we can think about this in the terms of let's say a lake. Yeah, it's covered in algae or covered in a pollution, and you start tapping that surface of the lake. Over time, those ripples you're making will push away the algae. You'll create like a little sort of serene spot in the middle of the lake. And that's what we're doing by doing a meditation practice or an energy practice. We're slowly making this clear space for us to push away the distraction and the other chaos the chaotic elements of life that can interfere with us. So we're creating our own space. You can do this through meditation. It helps to tune the sensory instruments. We're sensing different light and different sounds, and our ears can be very tuned to a certain frequency. You know, people can sometimes block out things, or we can pay specific attention to a noise that we're familiar with. So we're very tuned into certain things. And when we learn to open that, we can then retune to different things, just like this radio concept again. Ultimately, it leads to cultivating a spiritual energy. And that's like with water again. So if you push and make a wave in the water in the bathtub and it comes back, and as that wave bounces back going in the same direction, you push again, you create an even bigger wave. You push with the flow of the energy that's already being made. And then this creates more energy. And over time, it can become like a tidal wave. You know, you could be pushing just like cycling on a bike. It's really hard in the beginning. Then over time, it starts to become easier because you've already got the momentum. So explore the concept as above, so below. See how you're connected to the stars, see how you're connected to insects and atoms. And this really opens up that inner looking when we look inwards rather than trying to experience the world solely from the outside stimulus. All right, another deep breath in. Go. Oh, that feels good. So again, this is not anything to do, like, no one who does this stuff is special. I'm not special. There's nothing special about me and this. These are practices that have been around for a long time. People have been down this path many times before. I'm just now standing up and shouting out like, hey, let's go this way. There's something good over here. And it's just natural. There's nothing that we're taking from some religious area, or we're not like creating it out of nothing. It's all naturally abundant, been around us for many, many years, millennia even, and we're just like learning to be aware of it. Right, let's go. So going deeper with this, Rita and I are launching a platform called ReiKi Academia. So it's the study of universal life force. And we want to create this platform so there's a community of seekers who can exchange experiences and dive into the materials that we'll be producing. We'll have like comprehensive courses on, showing how the chakra system is linked to the endocrine system, these different glands that secrete different chemicals and peptides and all these hormones based on how you feel, what you think. Qigong, Reiki, Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, all these practices that have enriched and fulfilled our lives, we want to put out there as well. So in a second, we'll go into the practical exercises. We'll do something that we can actually try and sense this energy right now. And I also want to say, they're going to be free course as well. This is not all just like a paid for pitch or anything like that. So on ReiKi Academia, it opens on the 21st of December. So the winter solstice, this is the day after that global mass meditation event. People are all sharing this now. We're going to be meditating on the 20th to anchor this new wave of energy that's coming in, which is known as, the age of Aquarius. A long time ago, we used to salute the return of the sun because from the winter solstice, the days get longer. And at this point, with the movement of our planets and the solar system in general, it's where we're moving into what's known as the age of Aquarius. We've been talking about this since the 60s, but now we're actually entering that constellation in the way we measure things at 0 degrees. So we will technically on the 21st of December be in the age of Aquarius. Why are we doing this free course? So we want to make a free course so we get that information out there. We always want to be of service to people. We want to spread the love and light that we enjoy so much. and just uplift and bring anyone with us that we can. And as we are all sharing love and light together. So anyone who's here right now and does want to really go further into learning Reiki, like getting the attunement in the first degree, there has to be an exchange of energy for that. So we offer the course, and there'll be a special price for anyone who's here right now who wants to go on that platform, do all the free courses. You're welcome to do that as well. And so Reiki is a worldwide recognized energy method, and it comes with certification. You can use this if you have a shop or you want to speak to your clients and customers. It's something that's recognized worldwide. It's a healing art, and that's why we're offering that service as well. So there's something people can really take with the value and offer it to their others in their lives. So when that starts, we'll send out an email. If you go to pathofra.com/invitation, you can sign up there and you'll be on the database. And we're not going to send any weekly newsletters or anything like that. It's just for what I've spoken of here today. Right, so without further ado, let's go into an energy sensing awareness exercise. So let's take another deep breath in, maybe a couple now, just to really settle down and relax. All right, keep your feet on the ground, get yourself comfortable, back nice and straight. Take another breath in. Okay. So imagine yourself connecting to the ground, roots spreading out into the ground, into the earth. You're receiving energy from above, this cosmic radiation, cosmic light coming in just like a tree reaching up with the leaves. And just be open to that happening. Really don't focus too much on the visual of it. Just be opening and let your intentions be there to receive that. And let's place our hands 6 inches apart. We'll take another deep breath in and out. Okay. So what we want to do is close our eyes if you haven't already, and bring your awareness inside. Start feeling the palms of your hands. Just focus your awareness deeply into the palm of your hand, specifically on the skin, the barrier that's between your physical body and the air surrounding it. So put your mind in the space between the space. And start to visualize. Use your willpower, your inner guidance, your imagination to sense anything, any sensation between the hands and how it feels on the edge of your skin. There's no need to tense or try and put any effort in that way. Just let that manifest. Start breathing. Make sure to stay grounded. Imagine this ball or something forming, some type of energy forming between your hands. And common reactions people get at this point can be heat, tinglings, waves, vibrations, or feeling of magnetism, like a pull or a repulsion. Just sit with that. And a lot of people get it straight away. Some it takes a little longer. If nothing's happening at the time, it's usually because of a distraction. You could be in quite a chaotic mental state or emotional state. This really works when you feel stillness, you calm, you let your mind settle. So if it's not working for you right now, then please try before bedtime or when you wake up, these sorts of times when the mind is not bombarded with external stimulus. So obviously once you start to sense that, it can open up, it can engulf your entire hand, it can engulf your entire body. You can go further inside and occupy spaces in your body with your mind. This will help us revitalize ourselves. We can literally activate the adrenal glands. We can alleviate pain. And if you have like a muscle tension, you can focus your mind there and just let it unwind without any movement, without any electrical signal. It's just your mind. We can access any misaligned skeletal structures or displaced awareness. Typically, displaced awareness is in the face because a lot of us worry about how we look, are we presentable? So we have so much tension gathered in the face, and it's very important to us. And yeah, this allows us to control physical processes at will. We can witness, even just observing the blood moving and the brain firing, the neurons firing. It becomes a vivid experience, just like I mentioned earlier, with all of that chaotic energy just coming from all angles. If we experienced it all at the same time, it's just immense. It's overwhelming. So as we slowly open up to it, we slowly become aware of these things. They're very powerful. Even something just on a small scale, you think about the heart pumpings, in the grand scheme of things, not that big a deal, but it becomes very vivid and real. So we open up to that slowly, and that's what we're trying to teach and get out, and how to open up to this in a loving way, without the fear, without the chaos. So yeah, that's what we're going to be learning to do, and how to heal ourselves, how to project it to others and heal other people. And in that partnership, it works with animals, plants. We've already discussed how it can heal traumas, and much more. There's so much more. The inner journey is so interesting and so much more enthralling than the physical reactions you can see about, like anything like telekinesis or activating certain things around in the physical world. The inner journey is where it really hits home. So for those who resonate with this information and want to know more, we have the website www.reikiacademia.com. Here we have the platform, we have learning courses. You can go and sign up on there right now. Of course, we're going to give anyone who signs up now the access to the free energy sensitivity course, where we go into way more than what's been presented here, just purely because of the time aspect. And there'll be practical exercises, coaching, one-on-ones, all sorts of video materials, and a lot more information to really get to grips with this, build that system within the mind that then feeds the body, and then vice versa, so they connect. So we start to reconnect this energy system. On that platform, we'll also be doing Reiki attunements. This is where you get your energy synchronized with this universal energy that's around and is channeled through. It's channeled through me, it's channeled through many people. We want to share that. It's about sharing and opening that energy to people. And yeah, of course, there are paid courses, there are free courses. You can do whatever speaks to you, and no obligation either way. So yeah, the time is now. We are moving through this chaotic energy that's just hit the planet, and the whole world's been affected. Now everyone's had their structures just sort of like wiped clean. The world is moving into a new paradigm, new shifts of energy. So you, as spiritual seekers, now have the duty and the honor of going forward with what you know, getting out to the world. The time for this is now. So share all of your gifts. I hope that you do, and you have no fear. You go with courage, be brave in that way. Really, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and Rita, for being here. We wish you all the best on your journey, and yeah, I look forward to speaking to all of you again very soon. Thanks for coming here, and yeah, if you have any questions, jump in the chat, and we're happy to talk. I'll unmute people. Anyone wants to say anything, you are welcome to. Otherwise, I'll say namaste and bid you adieu. Thank you.